Hello students, hope you all are doing great. I'm Achal Chaudhary working as an assistant professor, BBA department in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. So students, I'm back with my online lecture series of company accounts. So students, this is lecture number 4 from unit 3. So in previous lecture, we have started a new topic that was accounting standards. And we have studied about these accounting standard number 4 and 5. Today we are going to study about the accounting standard number 15 and 17 in detail. So let's get started. Accounting standard number 15, that is related to the employees benefit. Here employees benefit are related to the employment which a worker is entitled to get any kind of pay during his by considering his employment services. Accounting for retirement benefits in the financial statements of employers. Basically students, what happened here that here employee benefits means any consideration which a employee is receiving from the enterprise from the organization in return of the services he has provided to them. For example, wages, salaries, gratuity, pension, any retirement benefits. So these all are included as a employee's benefit. So here we consider all the things. So that is related to the employment, further related to the services rendered by an employee. These benefits has been classified into four categories. First is your short-term employment benefits. It includes any wages, salaries, profit sharing, bonus, any kind of requisites which is related to your employment. Then next is your post-employment benefits. Post-employment benefits. When you are working for an organization, then there are many post-employment benefits you get, like gratuity, any kind of medical care, pension. So these are kind of post-employment benefits. Other long-term benefits, employment benefits. These are like leave encashment, provident fund. So these are your long-term employment benefits which will help you in your future. And last is your termination benefits. When voluntary or involuntary you take the retirement, then in that case you get many kind of benefits which are also considered as your termination benefits. So all of these are included in your employment benefits. Next is your applicability of accounting standard number 15. So the revised accounting standard 15 is applicable in its entirely to all level 1, level 2 and level 3 enterprises whose average number of persons employed is more than 50 during the year for which we are calculating it. Features of Accounting Standard 15. It provides a criteria for recognition of liability in respect of termination benefits on the lines of AS 29 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. Next is, it should be recognized only to the extent of the present value of any economic benefits which are available in the form of refunds from the plan or reductions in future contribution to the plans. It should be recognized immediately in the P&L account as it has a great impact on the P&L account, on the financial position, on the financial statement. Market yields on government bonds of the same currency and term as the post-employment benefits. So it should be considered. See students, in accounting standard 15, disclosure is very important because all the expenses, all the benefits, employee benefits are required to maintain and to show in their balance sheet and P&L so that better and a clear form of financial statements can be arised. So if you are not showing the expenses, those kind of employment benefits, because it's a kind of expense for an organization, so it is very important to show those expenses because it's a kind of regular expenses. Like if you are paying the salary, you are paying the pension, you are paying any kind of employment benefits, then it is required to show in your proper account so that we can have a proper acknowledgement regarding it. Like we have a proper knowledge what kind of employment benefits a company is providing and up to what extent a company is providing those benefits. So here are some disclosures under the accounting standard number 15. AS 15 has a now mandatory additional disclosure to enable users to evaluate the nature of defined benefit plans and the financial effects. So it is very important to show the additional disclosures which will help the organization in defining the nature of those benefit plans, and also it will help to evaluate the impact on the financial position. Next is your disclosure is also required to the reconciliation of the opening and closing balances of the present value of defined benefit obligations and the fair value of the plan assets. So, disclosure is also required to ascertain the opening and closing balance to evaluate the present value and to evaluate the fair value of the particular assets. Next is your specific assertion are also required with regard to actual assumptions which are made and other related matters. So a specific assertion is also required so that if there is kind of any other related matters which is not directly linked up to the employment benefits, so it should be maintained, it should be shown in the P&L account, it should be shown in your financial statements so that you have a proper acknowledgement regarding the financial position. You have a clear mind frame that these are the expenses. You are having a clear picture of all of your financial statements. Next is your accounting standard 17. It is related to the segment reporting. So what does it mean? Basically, there are diversified companies which are producing different products, group of products or services. Similarly, there are enterprises which operates in different geographical areas. So to have a proper knowledge regarding those different companies or who are working in a different geographical areas, so to like calculate their rate of return, to analyze their growth opportunities, for that it is mandatory to follow the accounting standard 17. So this information is useful in assessment of risk and returns of a diversified or any kind of multi-locational enterprises. Objectives of AS17. To its objective is to establish principles for reporting financial information about different types of products and services an enterprises produces and the different geographical areas in which it operates. So it gives a clear picture about both the things to better understand the performance of enterprise. So it also helps us in understanding the performance, the growth of the particular enterprise, to better assess the risk and return of the enterprise. It also helps us in to ascertain the risk which are presenting in the enterprise. So to eliminate those risks, it is very important to have a proper knowledge regarding that enterprise. And last is to throw more lights on merger and acquisition activity. So it also helps us in thinking about the if an organization needs to merge with other organization or to acquire some in like different activity. So these are the objectives of AS17, which helps us in better understanding of performance and better assessment of risk and returns, and it also helps us in make more informed judgment about the enterprise as a whole. Next is your like segmentation. AS17 is required for which organizations? What all enterprises are covered under AS17? So before going to that, let us understand segmentation. Why segmentation is required? So basically student, segmentation जब require होता है when you are having a different type of products, when you are producing the different type of products and आपकी organization large geographical area में work करती हो, when you are having a different branches, when you are having a different products, so then there is a segmentation required. So let us understand what enterprises are covered under this. Enterprise whose equity or debt securities are listed on the stock exchange. First thing, it should be listed under the stock exchange. Second, enterprises which are in the process of listing their equity or debt securities. If an organization is not yet listed under the stock exchange, but it's in a process of listing it, then it is also covered under it. Third is your financial institution. If there is any kind of financial institution, then it is also covered under the AS17. Next is your banks. You know, banks are having a different like segmentation. They are having different branches in different locations. So banks will be covered under it. Fifth is your insurance business, because insurance is also something like insurance के different products होते हैं. Insurance is not related to a particular one thing only. They are having a different products and also they are having a different branches for their organization. They are working in a different geographical areas. So it will be covered under it. All enterprises whose turnover exceeds rupees 50 crore, जिसका भी टर्नओवर 50 करोड़ exceed करता है, that will be also included in this. All enterprises having borrowings including public deposit in excess of rupees 10 crore. If an enterprise is having a borrowings including public deposit, that should be in excess of 10 crore rupees. And last is your holding and subsidiary enterprises of any one of the above. In जो भी हमने अब तक पढ़ा है, in all the categories. So if there is any kind of holding or subsidiary enterprises regarding all of these, so that will be also covered under the AS17. And last is your disclosure. Disclosure under AS17. So whether it's a case of primary or secondary segmentation. So these are the disclosures which are required under AS17. Sales to external customer, transactions with other segments, segment result, total amount of segment assets, total amount of segment liabilities, total cost incurred to acquire segment assets, total amount of depreciation on segment assets, total amount of other significant non-cash expenses. So these are the disclosures which are required under the AS17, so that there will be a full and entire information regarding all the expenses and all the revenues of a particular organization. So for that purpose, these disclosures are required to be mentioned in the enterprise. So students, that's it for today's lecture. In next video, we will continue in Unit 3. And that will be our last lecture for the Unit 3. So here is the question of the day, that is, state the basic features of accounting standard number 15 and 17 with suitable example. So I hope you can solve this question. And students, in Unit 3 we have to just study about the accounting standards, that too only 6 accounting standards. So I don't think that it is a big deal for you to study about those accounting standard, because you have to, in unit 3 you have to just clear two topics. First is your final accounts, and I know you are well enough to solve the questions from final accounts, because you have studied it in your previous semester also. So that is not a big deal for you to study final accounts and to solve the final accounts question again. And apart from final accounts, there are only two topics in the unit, that is your accounting standard. So there are only six accounting standards which you have to focus on. So you have to study about those accounting standards. So I have covered all the four accounting standards. So I have tried to cover all these four into a detail. So if you face any kind of doubt, or you are having any kind of query, so do let me know. I will arrange a doubt session for you. But start practicing and start reading and understanding the concepts of accounting standard. Thank you for your cooperation and interest. Stay tuned for more videos.